Commander Zylax froze the security footage at timestamp 0623, and his primary respiratory system stopped functioning. The human teacher, their new interspecies relations instructor, had just decapitated a Void Reaper with a coffee thermos. Not a ceremonial weapon, not military-grade equipment, a thermos. The creature that required 3 battle cruisers and orbital bombardment to kill the last time one appeared in civilized space was bleeding out in the parking structure, and the human was checking her watch. "Rewind it," breathed Kaeldra, the Institute's senior combat instructor. Her scales had gone completely white. "Tell me I'm hallucinating." Zylax replayed the footage. The Void Reaper, 4 meters of chitinous armor, acid blood, and nightmare mandibles, had ambushed the morning shuttle. Standard protocol: evacuate, seal the sector, call the defense fleet. According to YouTube analytics, 99.6% of viewers are not subscribed. That's a huge number. By subscribing the channel that is completely free, you'll help support the channel and never miss fresh content. The human, Olivia Smith, according to her personnel file, had walked off the shuttle, seen the creature disemboweling the security checkpoint, and said something that made the Reaper turn toward her. Then she'd moved. "Computer, slow to .01 speed," Zylax ordered. Even slowed down, it was hard to follow. The human stepped inside the Reaper's guard, used her thermos to deflect a claw strike that could punch through starship hull plating, pivoted on one foot while using her bag as a counterweight, and drove her car keys into the creature's primary visual cluster. The Reaper shrieked, a sound that had driven entire battalions insane, and the human looked annoyed. She grabbed her thermos with both hands and swung it like a club, putting her full body weight behind the strike. The Reaper's head separated from its body with a wet crunch. The human wiped ichor off her jacket, picked up her scattered belongings, and continued toward the Institute's main entrance. "How long until she reaches Classroom 7? Kaeldra asked, her voice hollow. "She's walking in right now." They ran. Olivia Smith walked into her first period interspecies relations class covered in monster blood, holding a coffee-stained thermos, and immediately noticed the temperature in the room had dropped about 10 degrees. 47 alien students, elite warriors from species across the Galactic Council, sat frozen at their desks. Nobody moved. Nobody breathed, if they breathed. "Sorry I'm late," Olivia said, setting her bag on the desk. "Anyone have wet wipes? And maybe a spare shirt? Size medium?" Silence. One student in the front row, a crystalline being from Sector 7, vibrated at a frequency that suggested pure terror. "Okay, tough crowd." Olivia pulled out her tablet and called up her lesson plan. "Let's start with introductions. I'm Ms. Smith. I taught 3rd grade back in Ohio for 5 years, and I'm excited to—" The door exploded inward. Commander Zylax and Instructor Kaeldra burst through, weapons drawn, scanning for threats. "Ms. Smith," Zylax said carefully, his translator, struggling with the mix of urgency and confusion in his voice. "You need to come with us to medical, immediately." "I'm fine, just got some gunk on my clothes." Olivia gestured at the ichor stains. "Is there a dry cleaner nearby that handles biological stains? This is my favorite jacket." "You killed a Void Reaper," Kaeldra said flatly. "Is that what that was?" Olivia squinted, thinking back. "Big angry bug thing?" "Yeah, it jumped out at the shuttle, seemed pretty aggressive." She paused. "Was it someone's pet? Because I'm really sorry if—" "Void Reapers," Zylax interrupted, his voice climbing an octave, "are classified as extinction-level predators. They're extinct for 3 cycles because the last one required 300 soldiers and orbital strikes to eliminate. They have armor that deflects plasma weapons, acid blood that melts through durasteel, neural toxins that cause instant paralysis. You killed it with a beverage container." Olivia looked at her dented thermos. "Well, it's a really good thermos. My sister got it for me. Keeps coffee hot for like 8 hours. "That's not—" Zylax's translator made a choking sound. "How are you even alive?" "I mean, it tried to scratch me, but I moved." Olivia shrugged. "Look, I appreciate the concern, but I have lesson plans to cover. We're starting with active listening techniques today, and I printed handouts. The class remained frozen. One student in the back, a Thoraxian warrior with 3 confirmed battle citations, slowly raised a manipulator appendage. Yes? Olivia smiled encouragingly. Questions already? Great. Teacher Smith, the Thoraxian said, his voice translator barely functioning. You exhibit no combat augmentation, no military cybernetics. Medical scanners show you are baseline human. How did you neutralize an extinction-level threat? Oh, I'm not military, Olivia said cheerfully. Never even been in a fight, really. Well, I broke up some pretty intense arguments between middle schoolers, and once I had to chase a raccoon out of my garage with a broom, but nothing like military training. The silence that followed was so complete that Olivia heard the station's environmental systems humming. You've never had combat training, Kaldra repeated slowly. Nope, I'm a teacher. We specialize in conflict resolution, not conflict starting. Is that the opposite? Olivia pulled out a marker. Should I write this on the board? Sometimes visual aids help. Zilax and Kaldra exchanged a look that contained several complete conversations. We need to call the council, Zilax said quietly. Already did, Kaldra replied. They're not going to believe this. The Galactic Combat Council's emergency session convened in under an hour, a record that spoke to the severity of the situation. Chief Xenobiologist Vex Thule pulled up the security footage on the main display, and the assembled military leaders watched in silence as the human casually dismantled their nightmares. Analysis, demanded High Commander Jitaro. Vexathule's tentacles rippled with distress. The human exhibits strength, speed, and reaction time that exceed baseline human capabilities by approximately 40%. However, she has no augmentation. No genetic modification, no cybernetics. According to our medical scan, she is completely, absolutely normal for her species. Impossible, said Admiral Rilia. No unaugmented being can move like that. Computer, overlay combat analysis, Vex Thule ordered. Holographic markers appeared over the footage, tracking every movement. The display lit up with warning indicators. The human uses 47 distinct combat techniques, Vex Thule continued. None of them match any known martial art in our database. She improvised 3 new fighting styles during the encounter. Here, he pointed to a sequence where Olivia used her bag's momentum to enhance her pivot. She invents a leverage technique that violates our understanding of humanoid biomechanics. And here, the footage showed her driving the keys into the Reaper's eyes. She targets weak points that shouldn't be detectable without enhanced scanning equipment. Maybe she has military training that Earth didn't report, suggested Commander Durax. We pulled her complete file, Jitaro said grimly. Olivia Smith, age 28, education degree from Ohio State University, 5 years teaching 8-year-old humans. Hobbies include reading, hiking, and something called reality television. Combat experience, none listed. The closest thing to violence in her record is a note that she successfully de-escalated a cafeteria food fight involving 30 students. That's impossible, Rylia said. Nobody fights like that without training. Except humans do, Vex Thule said quietly. I pulled Earth's historical database. They've been fighting each other for 10,000 years with minimal formal training infrastructure. Most humans learn combat through cultural osmosis, entertainment media, playground conflicts, and what they call messing around. The council stared at him. You're telling me, Jitaro said slowly, that Earth's civilians are self-trained combat variables. I'm telling you that this human learned to fight by watching fictional combat, breaking up children's arguments, and chasing small mammals out of her dwelling, and she just killed an extinction-level predator before breakfast. Mother of stars, breathed Admiral Rilia. What are their actual soldiers like? Nobody wanted to answer that question. Back in classroom 7,
Olivia had managed to wipe off most of the ichor and borrowed a jacket from the school's lost and found. Her students still looked like they were attending their own funeral. "All right, let's try this again," she said brightly, pulling up her presentation. "Today, we're covering cross-cultural communication and conflict resolution. Who can tell me about a time they successfully de-escalated a tense
Situation? No hands. Come on, don't be shy. There's no wrong answer. Still nothing. The Thoraxian warrior in the back was methodically stress-cracking his own exoskeleton. Okay, let me give you an example. Olivia pulled up the security footage of her fight with the Void Reaper. Half the class flinched. See this moment? Right here? The creature is clearly agitated, exhibiting aggressive territorial behavior. Traditional combat doctrine would call for overwhelming force, right? Nods. Enthusiastic nods. Finally, participation. But watch what I do instead. I establish clear boundaries. She pointed to herself stepping forward. I'm not retreating, which would signal weakness and invite pursuit. I'm not attacking first, which would escalate the situation. I'm standing my ground and making eye contact, communicating that I'm not prey. That's de-escalation through body language. You killed it, squeaked a small amphibious student near the front. Well, yes, because it attacked anyway. That's when we move to Plan B. Clear, decisive action to neutralize the threat. But notice I didn't use excessive force. One strike to incapacitate, one strike to neutralize. Efficient, clean, minimal collateral damage. That's what we call proportional response. The door chimed. Commander Zelax entered, followed by Kaeldra and Chief Xenobiologist Vex Thul. "Mr. Smith," Zelax said, "we need to ask you some questions." "Can it wait? I'm teaching." "It cannot," Olivia sighed. "Fine. Class, read Chapter 3 on active listening. We'll discuss it tomorrow." She looked at her students' terrified faces. "And please try to relax. You're all elite warriors, right? Act like it." She followed the officials into the hallway, where Vexthul immediately started scanning her with medical equipment. "Everything okay?" Olivia asked. "Ms. Smith," Vexthul said carefully, "you exhibit no combat augmentation whatsoever. You're completely baseline. How did you know where to strike the Void Reaper?" "The eyes?" "I mean, eyes are pretty universally a weak spot, right? Plus, it was trying to bite me, so its mouth was open, and I could see the soft tissue inside the jaw. Just seemed logical. The Void Reaper's visual cluster contains 17 redundant systems," Vexthul said. "You somehow struck the only 3 that would cause instant disorientation. The probability of doing that accidentally is—" "I didn't think about it," Olivia interrupted. "I just reacted. It was trying to hurt me, and I had keys in my hand, so," she mimed the stabbing motion. "Instinct, I guess." "Instinct," Kaeldra repeated. "Human instinct is to identify impossible weak points and exploit them with improvised weapons. I mean, humans are pretty good at pattern recognition, and we're problem solvers. You see a problem," she pointed at an imaginary reaper. "You solve it. Pretty basic stuff." The 3 aliens looked at each other with the expression of people whose entire worldview was crumbling. "Ms. Smith," Zelax said carefully, "are all humans capable of this?" "Capable of what? Fighting back when attacked?" "I mean, yeah, generally. It's kind of a survival thing." "Why?" Before anyone could answer, the station's alarm system screamed to life. Emergency lights flashed. A computerized voice announced, "Extinction level threat detected. Sector 9. All personnel evacuate immediately. This is not a drill." "Oh, come on," Olivia groaned. "I have 3 more classes today." Zelax was already on his comm. "Report." "Sir, another Void Reaper. They hunt in mated pairs. It's tearing through the engineering section, heading toward the main campus. Evacuation protocols already initiated. Defense fleet is 12 minutes out." "We'll be dead in 5, Kaeldra said bluntly. Olivia was already walking toward Sector 9. "Ms. Smith, what are you doing?" Zelax called. My students are in that direction. I'm not evacuating without them. She checked her watch. Plus, I have second period in 20 minutes. Can't be late twice in one day. You can't fight another Reaper. You barely survived the first one. I didn't barely survive. I won. Olivia picked up a fire extinguisher from the wall and a maintenance tool from an emergency kit. Besides, someone has to do something, and you guys look busy. They watched her walk away, jaw appendages hanging slack. Should we stop her? Vexthul asked. How? Kyldra replied. They followed at a distance, weapons ready, certain they were about to watch a colleague die. The second Void Reaper was larger than the first, probably the male, if Olivia remembered her xenobiology correctly. It had cornered a group of maintenance workers in the engineering bay and was systematically destroying everything in reach while shrieking that same nightmare sound. "Hey!" Olivia shouted. "Ugly!" The Reaper spun toward her, mandibles clicking. Behind her, she heard Zilax and his team take defensive positions, but she was already moving. The creature lunged, claws extended, and Olivia sidestepped, using the fire extinguisher to spray chemical foam directly into its face. The Reaper reared back, temporarily blinded, and Olivia was already inside its guard, driving the maintenance tool, a pry bar, between its chitinous plates at what she hoped was a joint. She guessed right. The Reaper's left side collapsed. It shrieked again, swiping wildly, and caught her shoulder. Pain exploded through her arm, but Olivia gritted her teeth and rolled under the next strike, coming up with the pry bar in her good hand. The Reaper was turning, trying to compensate for its damaged leg, and in that half-second of imbalance, Olivia saw her opening. She jumped, onto the creature's back, grabbed one of its dorsal spines for balance, and drove the pry bar into the soft tissue at the base of its skull. The Reaper convulsed once, twice, and collapsed. Olivia climbed off, clutching her injured shoulder, and looked at the stunned security team. "Could someone call medical?" she asked. "I think I need stitches." Then she sat down hard, adrenaline finally leaving her system. The aftermath was chaos. Medical teams swarmed Olivia. Her shoulder needed 47 stitches and a tissue regenerator, while the defense fleet arrived to find both Void Reapers already dead. High Commander Jitaro arrived on station within the hour and immediately convened an emergency meeting. Olivia sat in the conference room, her arm in a sling, drinking terrible station coffee from a replacement thermos someone had found. "Ms. Smith," Jitaro began, "you have single-handedly eliminated 2 extinction-level threats in one morning. You are either the most dangerous being in the galaxy or the luckiest. I need to know which." "I'm just a teacher," Olivia said tiredly. "I don't know what you want me to say. Something attacked. I defended myself. That's what anyone would do." "No," Kyldra said firmly. "That's what humans do. Nobody else in the galaxy thinks like you do. We train for years to master combat. We study strategy, tactics, weakness analysis. You just improvise. And somehow, impossibly, it works better than everything we've developed over millennia." "I don't understand," Olivia said. "We know," Jitaro replied. "That's what terrifies us." Vexthul leaned forward. "Ms. Smith, I've been studying Earth's history. Your species evolved on a death world where everything, the weather, the animals, the bacteria, tried to kill you. You developed persistence hunting, tool use, and pattern recognition as survival mechanisms. What we consider exceptional combat instinct is, to you, simply being human." "Okay," Olivia said. "You don't understand," Vexthul continued. "The Void Reapers are apex predators, the deadliest natural hunters in known space. They've driven 3 species to extinction, and you killed 2 of them with improvised weapons because they annoyed you. Do you understand what that means? That they shouldn't have attacked me?" "It means humans are the apex predators," Kyldra said quietly. "We've been worried about threats from outside the galaxy when the most dangerous species was already among us." "That's ridiculous," Olivia protested. "We're not dangerous. We're peaceful. We have art and music and literature. We cry at movies. We rescue abandoned animals. We're not—" "You're all of those things," Jitaro interrupted gently. And you're also capable of immediate, efficient violence when threatened. That combination is unprecedented, beautiful and terrifying in equal measure. Olivia sat back, processing this. So what happens now? Now, Jotaro considered. Now we adapt. The Combat Institute will add human interaction protocols to the curriculum. We'll study your species' tactical thinking. We'll learn to understand how humans solve problems. He paused. And we'll strongly recommend that no species ever consider Earth a military target. Good idea, Olivia said. We're much better as friends. Indeed. Jotaro stood. Ms. Smith, would you be willing to teach a course on human tactical thinking? Your combat footage will be required viewing for all council military academies, and it would help to have expert context. I teach communication and conflict resolution, Olivia said. Yes, Jotaro agreed. You absolutely do. 2 hours later, Olivia walked back into classroom 7. Her students were exactly where she'd left them, having apparently been too terrified to move. Sorry about that, she said, setting down her new thermos. Where were we? Active listening techniques, right? The Thoraxian warrior raised his hand. Teacher Smith, the station alerts said you eliminated another extinction-level threat. It was on the way here. Didn't want to be late again. She pulled up her presentation. Now, active listening involves 3 key components: attention, interpretation, and response. Let's start with, "How are you so calm?" blurted the crystalline student in front. Olivia paused. Because it's over? The problem was solved, so now we move on. That's just life, right? Things happen. You deal with them. You keep going. She smiled. Plus, I have you guys for second and third period too, and we have a lot of material to cover this semester. Can't waste time dwelling on the past. The class stared at her. Olivia got the distinct impression she'd said something profound without meaning to. Let me put it this way, she continued. The creatures attacked because they felt threatened. In their environment, aggression is survival. But in a civilized society, which is what we're preparing you for, violence should always be the last resort. The fact that I could fight doesn't mean I wanted to. It means I had no choice. That's the difference between warrior and peacekeeper. You're all training to be the latter, even if you're capable of the former. Makes sense? Slowly, hesitantly, heads nodded. Great. Now, homework for tomorrow. I want 2 pages on a conflict you resolved without violence. Could be from your training, your personal life, whatever. Show me you understand that fighting is what you do when communication fails, not instead of communication. More nods, these ones slightly more confident. The rest of the class proceeded almost normally. Students asked questions. Olivia answered them. They discussed cultural differences in communication styles. Nobody mentioned the Void Reapers again. When the period ended and her students filed out, Kaldra appeared in the doorway. That was impressive, the combat instructor said. What, the lesson? Thanks, I worked hard on it. No, the way you diffused their fear, gave them perspective, made them think critically about violence and peace. Kaldra's scales had returned to their normal blue. We train warriors here, but you're teaching something more important. I'm teaching teachers, Olivia corrected. That's what interspecies relations officers really are, teachers helping different cultures understand each other. The fact that they can fight is secondary. Is it, after today? Olivia considered this. Yeah, she said finally. It is, because fighting solves immediate problems, but teaching prevents them. I'd rather prevent 1,000 conflicts than win 1,000 battles. Kaldra made a gesture of respect. Earth sent us the right person. Earth sent you a substitute teacher whose original assignment fell through, Olivia laughed. I was supposed to be working at an elementary school in Cleveland, but thanks. After Kaldra left, Olivia packed up her materials, checked her lesson plans for tomorrow, and headed for the exit. Commander Zelax intercepted her in the hallway. Ms. Smith, a moment? Sure, what's up? I'm filing my official report to the council, Zilak said. I wanted to run the summary by you. Humans represent no military threat to council species, provided relationships remain positive. However, defensive capabilities exceed all projections. Recommend immediate classification upgrade and cultural exchange expansion. He paused. Does that seem fair? Add something about how we're really friendly if you bring pizza, Olivia suggested. And maybe mention that most humans would rather talk than fight. I'm not special, I just had a really weird morning. Mrs. Smith, you killed 2 extinction-level predators with improvised weapons. Right, but that's not normal for me. Usually my mornings are boring. She checked her watch. Speaking of which, I need to stop by the station store. My thermos got dented again. That's what you're concerned about? Your beverage container? It was a gift from my sister. Sentimental value. Olivia smiled. See you tomorrow, Commander. Thanks for caring. She walked away, leaving Zilak staring after her. He pulled up his report and added one final line. Humans are the most dangerous and most valuable species we've encountered. They are capable of extreme violence and extreme compassion, often simultaneously. They are terrifying and wonderful. We are fortunate they are our allies. He marked it classified and sent it to the High Council. That evening, in secure facilities across Council space, military commanders watched security footage of an elementary school teacher killing apex predators with office supplies. Strategic assessments were rewritten. Defense protocols were updated. Invasion plans for Sol system were permanently filed under absolutely not. And in a small apartment on the Galactic Combat Institute station, Olivia Smith ate reheated pasta, graded papers, and planned lessons for students who would never forget the day their teacher fought monsters before class and cared more about punctuality than glory. In the morning, she would teach them about empathy. After all, someone had to.